For years, crypto traders joked about the 10 a.m. dump. That strange moment when prices suddenly drop right as US markets come fully online. Most people treated it like a meme. Until now, because one of Wall Street's most sophisticated trading firms, Jane Street, is now being sued by the court-appointed estate of Terraform Labs, accused of strategically moving liquidity during the TerraUSD collapse in May 2022. The lawsuit alleges that a wallet linked to Jane Street withdrew tens of millions of TerraUSD from a key liquidity pool within minutes of Terraform's own withdrawal just before the system began to unravel. Jane Street denies the allegations and says the claims are baseless. But this is why the conversation suddenly feels bigger than a meme. Because even if this case is ultimately about TerraUSD, it reopens a larger question traders have been asking for years. When large institutions move size during high liquidity windows, does timing alone amplify collapses? To understand that, we need to rewind. Back to TerraUSD. TerraUSD was marketed as a stablecoin designed to stay worth $1. But unlike stablecoins backed by real dollars or treasury bills, TerraUSD was algorithmic. It was backed by a sister token called Luna. Here's the simple version. If TerraUSD dropped below $1, users could burn TerraUSD and mint Luna. If TerraUSD rose above $1, users could mint TerraUSD and burn Luna. The idea was that arbitrage traders would stabilize the price. But this system had a weakness. It required liquidity, and it required confidence. At the same time, Terra offered nearly 20% yield through a platform called Anchor. That yield attracted billions of dollars into TerraUSD. But it wasn't sustainably generated. It was heavily subsidized. So the entire ecosystem depended on belief, steady inflows, and deep liquidity pools. Then came the breaking point. Large amounts of TerraUSD were withdrawn from key liquidity pools, particularly on Curve. The peg slipped. Once TerraUSD dropped below $1, redemption surged. To defend the peg, the system minted massive amounts of Luna. But minting Luna increased supply. Luna's price collapsed, and because Luna was the shock absorber for TerraUSD, the collapse fed into itself. Within days, roughly $40 billion in value evaporated. Now here's where liquidity timing matters. In an algorithmic system, liquidity is oxygen. If a large player pulls liquidity quickly, stabilization mechanisms don't have time to work. Depth disappears. Slippage increases. Confidence erodes faster. Whether or not Jane Street's actions ultimately violated any laws is something the courts will decide. But what the lawsuit highlights is this. In fragile systems, speed is everything. When high-frequency trading firms operate in decentralized markets, their timing can magnify volatility. And Terra wasn't just another token collapse. It triggered a chain reaction. Three Arrows Capital failed. Celsius failed. Crypto lenders collapsed. Trust across the entire ecosystem shattered. Regulators worldwide intensified scrutiny. The Terra collapse marked the end of easy yield optimism in crypto. Now, years later, this legal battle raises a deeper question. Was Terra purely a design flaw that collapsed under its own math? Or did market structure and sophisticated liquidity movements accelerate the spiral? Because this isn't just about Terra anymore. It's about how Wall Street interacts with DeFi. It's about whether algorithmic systems can withstand institutional scale capital flows. And it's about whether predictable liquidity windows, like US market hours, become structural pressure points in decentralized finance. $40 billion disappeared. The math failed. Confidence failed. And now the legal system is stepping in to examine whether market behavior played a larger role than many realized at the time. Regardless of how this case ends, the lesson is clear. In crypto, liquidity isn't just a feature, it's survival. And when oxygen disappears, collapse accelerates. If this helped you understand what's really going on behind the headlines, this is exactly what we do here at The Breakdown. We take complex financial stories and break them down clearly, calmly, and in 5 minutes. No hype, no noise, just clarity. If you want to understand the forces reshaping money, markets, and global finance, subscribe to The Breakdown. And I'll see you in the next one.